on to our Unit 2 review. Sorry, we're good there. So we'll start with chronic food insecurity. So chronic is when it occurs for a long period of time. And then the other type is transitory. So that would be when it occurs for a short period of time. The two types of transitory are temporary and seasonal. So temporary meaning it's a sudden unpredictable event that won't last for a long time. And then seasonal, it's something that occurs regularly, either as a result of an event or the actual changing of the seasons themselves. Food literacy, so this is having the understanding of your food decisions, not only on your body, but in terms of financial, economic, and long-term benefits of those foods. Malnutrition versus starvation. So someone who is malnourished does not consistently get food on a regular basis, impacting their health and growth and development specifically. Starvation is a long or prolonged period of time where someone goes without food. Typically, starvation does lead to malnourishment. So, Canada recommends that people need about 2,000 calories per day, but worldwide there's 2,800 produced per person. So why is food security not, or why does food insecurity exist? That would be because there's distribution problems. So the food isn't equally distributed, right? And those averages, some people are consuming more than the recommended 2,000 calorie per day average. So they count towards the total, and then there's other people who don't get it and are on the other end of the spectrum. So again, distribution, your main problem there. What are the 3 A's of food security? Briefly describe one. So the first one is accessibility. So can you physically access it and can you financially pay for it? The second one would be adequacy. So is it safe, nutritious, beneficial for your body? And then the last one is acceptability. So does it meet your cultural requirements? Describe how the following factors relate to food security. So just in general, be able to describe how these would impact someone's ability to get food. So the economy, obviously, if the economy is not very secure, like right now, less people have jobs, less people are out buying food, and particularly in maybe more rationing sense, right? You're not going out and buying, treating yourself out a lot more. You're being more, like I say, you're rationing your food a little bit more in this time. Geography, so this just refers to isolation. Can you physically access something? So are you one in a city or a country where you're physically isolated and you pay more for distribution fees? Or are you yourself maybe outside of town, not near a grocery store, so you cost you more money, it's harder for you to access the grocery store even. Culture, so that depends on some types of food. So if a food is very common in a type of culture, it can impact the amount of food that comes in. Whereas if something's not very common in that culture, it may not consistently come in or it may only come in seasonally. And then politics. So this is to do with partially with the economy, right? Politics and the economy have a kind of hand-in-hand effect with each other. So this also relates to the politics regarding how do you distribute things, what are some of the decisions you're making, are they environmentally friendly, are they ethically friendly, vegetarian people bring politics into it a lot in terms of ethics. Describe the following common problems in food security. So poverty, so this relates to accessibility. Someone who is poor they economically or financially can't afford to buy food. Even though they may have physical access to it, they can't purchase it. Where someone has problem with physical access is isolation. So like I mentioned, if they're far away from a grocery store or if they live in an area where they're, it's not a very popular area, they're probably paying more for everything they get for distribution fees. And then over harvesting, so this is using a product at a faster rate than it can be replenished. This is typically thought of with more like natural processes, so like fishing and stuff like that. Obviously, when you look into manufacturing, it's hard to over harvest in terms of use the products you have at a quick rate. and describe what a food distribution system is and what is it commonly referred to as. So a food distribution system is referred to as a supply chain, and what it is it's the step from producing the food to getting it to the consumer. I actually saw a really good graph later. I'm going to pull that up as it pertains to that, but we'll just finish these questions in a second here. So what is food sobriety? How many pillars were created to help with food sobriety in Canada? For these ones, guys, you don't need to list the steps for the exam, nor will you need to list all of the pillars, but just know that the pillars were created to put food control locally, kind of put it in the hands, or put the decisions in the hands of the people who are closest and most immediate to the supply chain. Okay, so that's just while we're on the topic of a food supply chain. I saw a great little post here. Yeah, I saw it on my friend's channel. Sometimes you actually find good stuff on Facebook. So that just shows you all of the steps. So as you try to be more of an immediate person, so a home garden right there, you're limiting the amount of transportation. Even here you can see if you have a food delivery service that's having transportation definitely involved twice in the process. So I thought that really exemplified it well. Again, home garden from a local place, farmer's market, an industrial market, and then food delivery. So you want to cut down as much as possible. Specifically now during a pandemic is probably a good time to practice more to these three. It's also more of a guarantee in safety that you know there's less transportation and less contact. So that is your Unit 2 review, guys. So we're done with the review videos and just in general done making videos for the class. So I just want to thank you guys for a great semester. I know it kind of got ended abruptly, but even online, all the discussion posts specifically, I've been enjoying reading them. You guys have been awesome online students, so I just want to say thanks for that. Best of luck with your exams and your final projects. Feel free to message me anytime if you need anything.